Alright guys, we're going to continue working on our homework. We already did this one. We decided that clearly there was an error when I made that, so I do apologize. It does not work. I did go back and check. It doesn't work. So let's look at this. The connection here is terrible, so I do apologize, guys. I don't know what to do about that. So 8/10 plus 16 over n equals 1 3/5. So what do you know about this? What do you recognize right away? Something that just stands out at you. Hopefully you recognize that I'm missing a number in my problem. So I am going to rewrite this, solving using my understanding between the relationship between division. I know that this is part, and when I join those together, I get a whole. So relationship between addition and subtraction is that I can rewrite that as the whole minus a part will help me find what the other part is. Then something else should hopefully jump out at you. Hopefully you recognize that you have, unlike denominators, you have a denominator of 5 and a denominator of 10. And anytime I want to add or subtract fractions, I need to have a common denominator, so I'm comparing against the same whole, or the same parts of a whole. So I'm going to rewrite this with a common denominator of 10. This one's already in tenths, so I'm just going to drop it down. And I need to figure out what did I do to go from 5 to 10. Since I know that 5 times 2 is 10, I need to multiply the whole fraction by 2 over 2 because that's what's going to give me my whole when multiplying by 1. 6. Now I'm going to subtract 6 minus 8. Oh, you know what I noticed? I noticed that I cannot subtract 8 from 6. So what I need to do is, I need to borrow from my whole. So I'm going to get rid of one whole and I'm going to add it into my 6 tenths. So I know that I need a common denominator of 10, so how many tenths is going to give me a whole? 10 tenths is going to give me a whole. So now I can join together these two fractions in order to subtract. 6 tenths plus the whole that I added is now giving me 16 tenths minus 8 tenths. And when I subtract that, I have 8 tenths left over. Very good. I'm almost done, but what I need to do is I need to look at my original expression, which has got me with a numerator of 16. And I have to solve for n. So what did I do to go from 8 to 16? I multiplied by 2. And again, what I do to my numerator, I've got to do to my denominator so that I'm just multiplying by one whole. 2 over 2 is one whole. So in this instance, you should recognize that n is equal to 20. Well, let's go over here and look at this next one. Here, I have to find, because I'm doing a live stream of homework help. That's a visitor. It's okay. They're fine. They'll be all right. Hi, guys. Sorry. All right, so let's go ahead. It says a numerical expression is shown. So when I look at the expression, we talked about a strategy that we can use to help us solve that. And that was to rework it out and work it out right beside it. So I'm just going to rewrite it so that I have that visual of step by step what it should look like. Times 1 plus 7 plus 11. So order of operations, GEMDOS, and I'm going to write that just so I can kind of check off as I'm going. Order of operations, GEMDOS, tells me I'm going to do groupings first. So I need to look and see, do I have groupings? And in this case, I do have groupings, but within those groupings, I actually have two operations. I have multiplication and addition. So I always multiply before I add or subtract. So 6 times 1 is 6, and then drop everything down to create the equivalent numerical expression.
Thanks for reminding me.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare my step against their step. And I see in their step, they made an error, and the error they made is they added first. So my first error is in step 1. I'm going to do that same thing for here. I'm going to leave that one for you guys to do. So again, use that strategy, work it on right alongside it. That will help you find the error, check it step by step. Again, remember to use GEMDOS to check it off as you're going. Okay, so here's where I'm going to go next, and I'm going to do 8 with you, and same as before, 9 is going to be on your own. So when I look at number 8, the question says, the table below shows the weight of several bags. What is the combined weight of all bags? So I'm going to go through cubes. These are all my numbers. And U is underline. What is the combined weight? And now I'm going to do B box. So I need to look for a keyword that would tell me what operation to do. And then instance combined tells me that I'm going to be adding those 4 numbers together. So I'm going to write an equation that I'm going to solve and with those 4 fractions. So I'm going to just slide this up so that you guys can see this, what I'm copying, and you should be copying the same thing, again, right off your table and not doing anything that you don't have in front of you already. So 4 and 4 eighths, and then the next number on my table is, ooh, sorry. Hey, you're welcome back. Sorry, again, the reception here at school is not good right now. And then plus 8 and 1/3. Oh, jeez. That was day 7, so you can just ignore that. I didn't mean to do day 7. You weren't assigned day 7. I meant to do day 8, so I'm so sorry. You guys probably was like, no, where are your numbers coming from? So, sorry. Let's try that again. 8 and 2/3 plus 3 and 3/5 plus 6 and 1/5 plus 7 and 1/2. So I'm going to give you a minute to just get that copied and see what is going on here while you're copying that. Do 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 do. Live in New Jersey. Woohoo! Shout out to the Jersey. Wow, I am impressed. Love it. So I'm going to look at this, and I need to, again, I'm adding, so I need to look at my I need to look at my denominators and see what I notice about them. Oh, good, good, you're done, good. I always wonder if I am going too fast. So I've got denominators of 3, 5, 5, and 2, and I need to figure out what do I know about these 3 denominators, or what do I notice? So hopefully you're noticing that you actually already have 2 common denominators that you can then join together as is. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite all this 2/3 plus, and I'm just going to join those 2 together. 3 plus 1 is going to give me 4/5, so, and then I need to make sure that I add my whole. 3 plus 6 is 18, and then my 4/5 plus 7 and 1/2. So what I'm going to do now to make sure that I don't forget those whole numbers is I'm just going to go ahead and add those 4 whole numbers together now. I've got 8, 18, and 7. So let's see, 8 plus 18 is 16 plus the 7 more. 16 plus 7 is going to give me 20. Alright, so 8 plus 8 gives me 16 plus 7 more gave me 23. I'm going to drop down my 3 and regroup that 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now I don't have to worry about my whole numbers. I've got 33. And then I've got 2/3, and I had 4/5, and I have 1/2. So I need to figure out another common denominator. If you knew a common denominator for all 3, you could go ahead and use that. But since I don't know, I'm just going to decide which 2 I want to join together first. You know what? I'm pretty comfortable with 5 and 2 because I quickly know that they have a common denominator of 10. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that with a denominator of 10. This one I'm just going to drop down for now, and I'll come back to it later. So I'm going to do those 2 first. And then my whole number. Okay, so what did I do to go from 5 to 10? Right, I multiplied by 2, and so I need to multiply the whole fraction by 2 over 2, which gives me an equivalent numerator of 8. I'm going to do the same thing here. So again, I have that common denominator of 10. 2 times what gets me to 10? And again, that's 5, so multiplying the whole fraction by 5/5. So now I can join those together. 8 plus 5 is going to give me 13 tenths. And now 33 and 2/3 plus that. And now I need to find a common denominator for 3 and 10. Easy common denominator would be 30. So 33 times with a denominator of 30, denominator of 10, denominator of 30. And so again, I want to figure out what did I do to go from here to here to create that equivalent fraction. To go from 3 to 30, I multiplied by 10. So I can do 20 here. To go from 10 to 30, I multiplied by 3. Now this one's a little trickier because this is a larger number, so I'm just going to go over here. 13 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Group the 1. 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. So now I have that common denominator. Now I can join together these numbers, 20 and 49. So I'm just going to continue here and add that 20. I get 69. So 33 whole plus 69 over 30. And you figure out what do I notice. Hopefully what I notice about this is that 30 can go into 69, right, 2 times. So when I have 33 plus 2 more, I've got now, whoops, that's the wrong number. That's why I use a pencil, because I make mistakes. 35. And so when it went in 2 times, I know that I used 60/30ths, because again, 60 over 30 is your 2 whole. And now I can just subtract it, and I've got 9/30ths left over. So my final step is I want to see, can I create an equivalent fraction with that? Hopefully you recognize that 3 and 3, so they can both be divided by. They can both be divided by 3, so 9 divided by 3 is 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10, and then carry over your whole number. Your final answer is 35 tenths. That took forever with all the interruptions in connection. So if you stayed for the whole thing, write the word evergreen. Does not need to be spelled right, but chunk it evergreen on a piece of paper with your name, and you will get a special treat tomorrow. Again, you have to do day 9. I did not do day 9 for you. If you missed day 8 and day 9 for the missing number, go back. It's on a separate video. There was connection issues then too. So anyways, bye guys. Have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow. If you're not here tomorrow, I will see you after the break. Have a happy winter, happy holidays, and goodbye.